Then the boat turned towards me and stayed its pace, and floated slowly within my hand's reach, yet I durst not handle it. It waded deep, as if it were heavily burdened, and it seemed to me as it passed under my gaze that it was almost filled with clear water, from which came the light, and lapped in the water lay a warrior asleep. A broken sword was on his knee. I saw many wounds on him. It was Boromir, my brother, dead. I knew his gear, his sword, his beloved face. One thing only I missed, his horn. One thing only I knew not, a fair belt, as it were of linked golden leaves, about his waist. Boromir, I cried, where is thy horn? Whither goest thou, O Boromir? But he was gone. The boat turned into the stream, and passed glimmering on into the night. Dreamlike it was, and yet no dream, for there was no waking. The passage I just read to you is Faramir's recounting of what could have been a vision, or what could have been the actual boat sent down Rauros, we're never really sure. It's how he finds out his brother is dead, and it breaks my fucking heart every time I read it. So let's talk about the man in that boat, how the movies handled him, what I liked, what I didn't like, and how he truly is, at heart, a good and noble man. Starting with the good. The movie, quite simply, gives us more of Boromir. Ironically, in the way it treats him, it both endears us further to him and seeks to demonize him at the same time. He has more personality and more scenes in the movie, which is perhaps not surprising. We see more of who he was in scenes like this, for example.
2, 1, 5. Good. Very good. Move your feet. That's good, Pippin. Thanks. Faster. Sorry. Get him! There's a shire! Hold him! Hold him down! Me!
I like this. This is excellent. It shows us somewhat of what he was like as an older brother. I find no doubt in the fact that Boromir looks at Merry and Pippin and sees, well, probably not Faramir, but maybe some of his younger cousins from Dol Amroth. When the Crebain come, the person he calls out for to check on is Merry. He is a protector of all those weaker than himself. I mean, he has been Faramir's protector since he was 10, those roots run deep and we see them clearly here. I also like all of his scenes in Lothlorien, especially the scene where he comforts Frodo.
You carry a heavy burden, Frodo. Don't carry the weight of the dead.
Is a fucking good quote, and a fucking good moment, and it rings true to the book's version of Boromir too. He's had to deal with grief. His mother died when he was very young, and he had to grow up all too quickly. I can well imagine this is something he wishes someone else had said to him, when he was young and grieving but still had to be the Lord's son, and now had to take his mother's place in Faramir's upbringing. And his scene with Aragorn is also good, but I would have liked it more if they were struggling with the unraveling of their plan to go to Minas Tirith together, instead of Aragorn just sitting there stewing in his I don't wanna be king bullshit. I really actually like the scene where he tries to take the ring, especially the part after he comes back to himself and realizes what he has done. That was some excellent acting by Sean Bean. His death scene in either iteration will also never fail to make me fucking cry. But both of these final two scenes I've mentioned follow the books decently well, so there's no real change there, except, of course, Boromir's death in the movies has to have some reassurance for his character that Aragorn will not abandon his people. Which brings me very neatly into the bad. There is no comparison I can make that will more clearly illustrate how badly the movies handled Boromir's pride than this. I was not sent to beg any boon, but to seek only the meaning of a riddle. Yet we are hard-pressed, and the sword of Elendil would be a help beyond our hope. if such a thing could indeed return out of the shadows of the past.
Gondor has no king. Gondor needs no king.
One is a man who, yes, is proud and does not quite yet believe that this ranger out of the north is who he says he is, but who would bow to the rightful king of Gondor, should he ever return. A man who understands his country's need and would not turn such powerful aid aside. The other is a man lashing out at someone who would come to claim what he sees as his. The other is too much of Denethor. In the books, Boromir only ever once claimed any wish to be a king of any sort, and that was when the ring had its deepest claim on him. Furthermore, his introductory scene is so insultingly out of character, it honestly pains me to watch. Boromir would never in a million years toss Narsil aside so carelessly. This is not just any legendary sword, this is a part of his country's history. This is a relic out of the legends he grew up on. The history he has so much pride in, the country he loves with all his heart, he would not handle it with such disrespect. Boromir was on board with Aragorn coming to Minas Tirith from the moment it was demonstrated to him that Narsil could in fact be brought back into the world. That was their plan from the start, to go as far as the Falls of Rauros with the Fellowship, and then part ways to go towards Minas Tirith and aid in her war. In the movies, Boromir suggesting they go to Minas Tirith is definitely supposed to be seen as specifically just for the purposes of getting the ring there, because why else would he suggest it? In the movie, it's absolutely implied they're all planning on going all the way to Mount Doom. In the books, the same suggestion rings more of an "I'm going there anyway, why don't you come with me and rest for a while and strike out from a place of power." No doubt the ring had some hand in making him suggest it, but there was some actual logic behind it. And then, there's the matter of Aragorn. Boromir would never in a million years willingly follow this version of Aragorn. Yes, he is Isildur's heir, but to Boromir's mind, movie Aragorn would be an absolute disgrace. A coward ashamed of his own history, he's discarded the mantle that is supposed to be his, and in so doing he's abandoned his, and more importantly, Boromir's people. Why the fuck would Boromir ever follow him? Because he's the last in a long line of lost kings? He's made it very clear he doesn't even want that. He actually rejects Minas Tirith at one point, to Boromir's face.
I will not lead the ring within 100 leagues of your city.
Movie Aragorn has done nothing to deserve Boromir's loyalty or respect. In fact, he has done several things to earn himself Boromir's scorn 10 times over, but the real kicker has to be the fact that he actually rejects Minas Tirith, and so, by proxy, the people of Gondor. Why would Boromir ever follow a man who would apparently be perfectly happy to leave his people in the lurch? Which finally brings us to Boromir was not evil. He just wasn't. He was influenced by evil, but he himself was not. He was a man desperate to save his people. A man who not long ago was one of only 4 men to survive the attack on Osgiliath by Mordor. A man who has grown up with the shadow of Mordor ever encroaching into his father's realm. He is a man that made peace with that he would not get his way and resolved to help anyway. He did not set out from Rivendell intending all the while to take the ring, of course he didn't. He set out with as true a purpose as did all of his companions. He would help the ring-bearer as far as their roads were joined, and then he would go with Aragorn and Anduril to aid Minas Tirith once again. He listened to what Elrond said, and though he did not agree with it, he kept his peace and decided to lend what aid he could to the effort. It is not his fault that the ring works specifically to target such thoughts. It is not his fault that it seized upon its best opportunity and began to work its claws into him. He was a good man. It was not his fault. All he ever wished for was to save his people.